give people some tips on how to be enchanting that you actually went through in your book, like 1 through 5.
Okay, so the pillars of enchantment are, first of all, that you have to be likable, because you will never enchant people if you're not likable, you know? And so the question is, how do you become likable? And I think it's very basic stuff. First of all, it's how you smile. Many people smile with just the jaw muscles, but a truly great smiler, you smile with your jaw and your eyes. And when you smile with your eyes, you will have crow's feet. So what I'm telling you is crow's feet is good. Just think of all the money you just saved on Botox and plastic surgery. You want crow's feet, number one. Number two is the quality of your handshake. I put in the book a mathematical formula for the ideal handshake in terms of length, distance, eye contact, firmness, temperature of your hand. The whole thing is in there. You'd love it. And the third part of likability is that you need to dress appropriately, that you neither dress way above your audience so that your audience feels like you're trying to act richer than they are, nor do you dress way below your audience so that the audience gets the feeling that, we're all dressed for business, but this guy comes in and he's wearing t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers because he can get away with it. So you want to dress for a tie. So that's likability. Now, you can be likable but not trustworthy. And if you think about it, many people like celebrities, but you wouldn't trust those celebrities. At least I hope not. And so the next step is trustworthiness. And the way you acquire trustworthiness is, first of all, there is a definite order. Which comes first? Do you trust others and they trust you? Or do they trust you so then you trust them? And the order is you have to trust people before they will trust you. If you want to be trusted, you trust them first. And I think some organizations personify this. Zappos trusts women to try on shoes and send it back, and they'll pay shipping both ways. Amazon trusts people to buy a Kindle book and return it for up to 5 days. Lots of people could read a book in 5 days, but Amazon will let you return it. So that's trust. The second component of trustworthiness is this default to yes attitude that I told you. And the third component of trustworthiness is that you think like a baker, not an eater. So when an eater sees a pie, you look at it, you say, zero-sum pie, I got to get as much of that pie as possible. When a baker looks at a pie, a baker says, I can bake more pies and I can bake bigger pies. So I think generally people who are trustworthy are thinking, bake a bigger pie. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not that my gain is your loss and your gain is my loss. So that's trustworthiness. And the final factor is the product of your quality, or the product of your quality of your product or service. Is this thing just cutting out? No? Yeah? So the quality of your product or service, and I've invented an acronym to define the 5 great qualities that are important. So the acronym is DICE, D-I-C-E-E. Those of you who are taking notes, it would not be necessary for you to take notes if you bought the book. I just like to point out the obvious to you. I have 4 kids.
Which is right over there.
Yeah. I have 4 kids. They go to Sacred Heart. If you knew what the tuition was, you'd be buying my book. So anyway, DICE. So what DICE stands for is D is for depth. Great products, great services have lots of functionality. The I is for intelligence, that you look at this product and you have a sense that the people who created this product had a sense of what you are encountering, what your challenges are. And there's a great example from the car business. I want to buy a Ford GT Shelby Mustang, a GT500 Mustang. A GT500 Mustang is a car that has about 550 horsepower, 0 to 60 in roughly 4.2 seconds. It's rated for something like 16 miles per gallon around the city and 23 on the highway. But suffice it to say that nobody who drives a GT500 is going to get anywhere close to that mileage because you are going to stand on it every chance you get. So anyway, this is a weapon. This is a lethal weapon. This is a great car. And I hesitate to buy this car because I have 2 teenage boys. One is in the permit process and the other has a license. And inevitably, there's going to be some circumstance where they're going to have to drive that car. And it's socially irresponsible for me to think that I could give them that car to drive. But then I found out that Ford has something called a My Key. And the way My Key works is you program into the key the top speed of the car. So I could give my son the key for the car and say, here, drive Dad's Mustang, and it would be limited to 55 miles an hour. Now, there is no limit to how fast you get to 55, but you can only get to 55. I think that's a really intelligent product. Okay?
Yeah, but that's not enchanting.
Well, but there's safety. So that's intelligence. The C stands for completeness. That great products are complete. They are not just the software. It's the software, the string of enhancements, the online documentation, the user group, the conference, the webinar, all the stuff that surrounds a great product. The first E stands for empowering. Great products make you feel more creative, more productive. They give you peace of mind. And the last E is for elegance, the human interface design, that someone cares about the interaction between you. So if you had trustworthiness, likability, and a dicey product, you'd pretty much be enchanting. And I'll give you some examples. Not every company does everything well. So I would say that Apple is the great example of great dicey products, beautiful products. So that's the strength of Apple's Enchantment. The example of likability, I would say, is Virgin America, because Richard Branson is an extremely likable person. The first time I met him, I was in Moscow speaking, and we were in the green room of the place, and he asked me if I flew Virgin, and I said I never fly Virgin because I'm a United Airlines Global Services level. Global Services is this, you hear about a 100K level, and that's supposed to be the top. There's one beyond that. And the one that's beyond that, it's really witchcraft. Nobody knows how you get in. They just invite you one day. It's not strictly tied to mileage. It's mileage as well as revenue. No, it's mileage plus revenue. Because you think about it, somebody could fly coach and fly 100,000 miles. That's not nearly as good as someone who flies first and flies 100,000 miles. So it's some combination of mileage and revenue. So I didn't want to jeopardize that. And the moment I told him that, he got on his knees and he started polishing my shoes with his coat. And so ever since that day, I fly Virgin America. Because, can you imagine, those of you who know him, can you imagine Steve Jobs getting on his knees and polishing your coat to use an iPad 2? I don't think so. That's just incomprehensible. Yeah. So there's the likability of Virgin, and then the trustworthiness. I think Zappos really personifies trustworthiness. So now you don't have to buy the book.